Okay, thank you everyone for joining in. This is the first day of COPUOS, and this is the first side event, I think. So thank you all for joining in. This is Access to Space for All Path for Space Technology Capacity Building side event. And yeah, we are very happy to have you here in the Vienna International Center, but also on Microsoft Teams. So just to show you, this is the agenda for today. We will start off with the opening remarks, then I will go into the details of the initiative, and then we will have partnering governments and partners actually talking about the opportunities, and we will have a bit more information at the end as well. So with no more further ado, I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Niklas Hedman, who is the Acting Director of the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hazuki, and welcome all to this event. I see that there is a lot of people attending virtually. Good to see. Distinguished participants, dear colleagues, welcome everyone to this hybrid side event on the Access to Space for All initiative. I'm pleased to see the tremendous turnout of our on-site participants, as well as the online community. And as I already said, we have more participants virtually than in the room. Today, we want to emphasize how the office is building a path towards space technology capacity building through this initiative. To highlight the work of the office, I would like to share a few words on what the initiative means and what we actually do. Access to Space for All is a flagship activity of UNOOSA and is managed by the Program on Space Applications. The initiative itself was born in 2018, so we can say that we mark its 5th anniversary. It is important to note that it is built on existing experiences and hands-on capacity building efforts. The initiative aims to eliminate barriers for countries, universities, and teams to conduct space-related activities. Ultimately, this effort helps with advancing access to the benefits provided by space technologies and their applications. Supporting our progressive work in implementing the Space 2030 agenda, which aims to meet the goals of the Sustainable Development Agenda 2030, the initiative is acknowledged as an important tool to enhance the use of space science and technology. Access to Space for All contributes towards improving the areas of quality of education, innovation, decent work, and economic growth, and gender equality. This is by no means an exhaustive list, and we continue to work to deliver on targets underpinning all 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The technology and infrastructure that participating teams design, build, and test, the applications resulting from the projects, and the partnership and networking opportunities all contribute to the 17 SDGs in different ways. We are pleased to present some of the results today. Over the years, 32 awardees from all around the world have already been selected across 9 hands-on experiment opportunities. Among these awardees are 42 entities from more than 30 countries. Furthermore, we have 1 annual fellowship through which we have granted more than 65 scholarships. The numbers say a lot, but the success stories and lessons learned working with each of the partners and teams speak louder about the depth and impact of the initiative. For us, it is important to share the outstanding results as broadly as possible to help secure a greater buy-in in the universities and countries and to inspire future involvement in the activities and with the Office for Outer Space Affairs. The first Access to Space for All expert meeting organized earlier in May this year enabled us to bring together the involved entities and beneficiaries as well as the general public. Welcoming such a broad audience helped us convey messages about the fruits of the initiative's efforts and all the progressive outcomes that have emerged from the various activities. It was also a great learning opportunity for us and all the attendees to guide future endeavors as we grow and evolve to meet the needs of participating nations. Valuable feedback and comments we collected provide us with opportunities to make well-informed decisions down the road in developing our future activities to maximize the benefits for member states. Speaking of maximizing benefits, we have a few exciting announcements to make today. Advancing the aspirations of this great initiative, I am thrilled to announce the opening of new rounds in our on-ground experiment opportunities in augmented gravity conditions. The first opportunity, called DropTES, is a collaboration between UNOOSA and our esteemed partners, the Center of Applied Space Technology and Microgravity, ZARM, and the German Aerospace Center, DLR. DropTES enables selected teams to conduct microgravity experiments at the Schmidt-Bremme Drop Tower and Gravity Tower Bremen Pro, located in Germany. Microgravity conditions require state-of-the-art facilities, and we are thrilled to work with ZARM and DLR to provide unique access to these towers. The second opportunity is HyperGES, an effort we are delivering together with the European Space Agency. In this case, we look at the opposite side of the gravity spectrum. Through HyperGES, selected teams are granted access to the large diameter centrifuge at the European Space Research and Technology Center, ESTEC, located in the Netherlands. This facility offers a great opportunity to conduct hypergravity experiments. I would like to encourage all eligible entities to apply to these unique programs and work with us as well as our partners in expanding access to space for all. And before I close, let me underline that more opportunities will open across the different programs, so stay tuned. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of our partners for their continuous generous support of the initiative and all of the awardees who are bringing amazing outcomes and helping us promote the benefits of the initiative. Once again, welcome everyone to this side event today. I do hope you get inspired. Wish you all a productive event. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Niklas, for the opening remarks. And now I'd like to move on to give all of you an overview of the Access to Space for All initiative. So the goal of the initiative, as explained already by our acting director, is to provide research and orbital opportunities for UN member states to access to space and ensure that the benefits of space are truly accessible to all. And on the left-hand side, you see our core values and what the applicants and awardees will achieve through the program. So first of all, they will acquire cutting-edge skills for jobs and other opportunities and really develop the hands-on capabilities from A to Z. So starting small with easier skills and moving up to more complex skills. The second part is that this is all free of charge. So the access to the unique ground and space infrastructure, technology, and information are provided free of charge thanks to our amazing partners. The third point is that the awardees, the applicants, they gain international cooperation and the experience of international cooperation through working with us, the UN, and the spacefaring partners. It also gives visibility to the R&D and the space activities already done in the region. And of course, it motivates the young generation and boosts interest in STEM. So the numbers you can see in the middle have already been explained by Niklas, but we have 9 hands-on opportunities, 1 annual fellowship, 32 awardees involving 44 entities from 32 countries. And the number is continuing to grow, and we hope that in 2023 it will keep growing as well. As you can see on the right-hand side, we value the SDGs, especially through the initiative. We look at number 4, quality education, number 8, decent work, economic growth, and number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. But as Niklas mentioned already, all the different applications, the infrastructure that the teams develop, the partnerships, all contribute to different SDGs. So really, access to space for all is one of the important tools of implementing the Space 2030 agenda. On this slide, you can see the impact of the initiative. So participation in the initiative has led to more partnerships, opportunities, media coverage, development of new infrastructure and departments in some universities. And it not only raises the interest in space, but leads to more investment in STI as well. Some of the examples you can see there are really great. For example, the one on the left-hand corner is the development of Aerospace AI and Digital Center of an actual infrastructure in Tunisia. They were chosen as a KiboCube awardee. And after that, the university was able to collect enough funding to build a new center to really for the development of the KiboCube CubeSat itself, but also for future development. So we have a lot of different awardees, as mentioned earlier, and we have the awardee pages. If you're interested in all the activities done by them, please take a look at our awardee page. It has the news, activities, a lot of the documents that they're producing. We have everything up there, so please have a look. And also, we're doing a lot of interview articles, especially trying to focus on how the Access to Space for All initiative is contributing to the SDGs, as mentioned earlier. So yeah, please have a look at these websites as well. Yeah, and this page is the structure of the initiative. So our initiative is work in progress, and we are really trying to expand our support. The first component is a hands-on component. So it is the actual hands-on research and orbital opportunities that we provide with the partners. The tool component is something that we have on the website, which is a collection of open platform software tools that can really help the awardees take part in the hands-on component. And the education component is really the theoretical foundational of all of this. So it's providing information, webinars, and knowledge on how to actually use the tools in the tools component, but also take part in the hands-on component as well. And this is what our opportunities look like right now. So as we've already mentioned, we have 9 hands-on opportunities under the hands-on component. And then we have a few more in the education component as well. We have 3 different tracks: the hypergravity, microgravity track, satellite development track, and space exploration track. The yellow circles are the ones that we actually have opportunities on already, and the red ones, the red donuts, are the ones that we do not have opportunities yet. We're always looking for new partners that will be able to provide these, to fill in these donuts. So if you have any ideas, or if you have anything beyond these donuts actually to really expand the initiative, yeah, please let us know. Basically, we have 3 different tracks, and I just want to give you a quick overview of each track. So the hypergravity and microgravity track is really to build capacity for conducting experiments in orbit. And it starts on with the on-ground opportunities that we're going to be presenting later on today, and it moves on to the on-orbit opportunities. And under the education component, we also have a collaboration with JAXA, which is doing experiments on board the ISS as well. And we're really doing this because we believe that hypergravity and microgravity is an achievable entry point to acquire knowledge and skills. These environments will be able they give you a platform to really test different scientific fields. And we believe that this is a beneficial first step of capacity building. The second track, moving on with the gradual learning path, is the satellite development track. We believe that, and I think everyone thinks so as well, CubeSats offer a large variety of applications, and it's really the first step for a country in the acquisition of the skills and know-how needed to develop a space program. And CubeSats are becoming affordable to develop, and it represents an achievable entry point to space activities. Currently, we have 3 opportunities. Right there, as you can see on the hands-on component. We have a fellowship under the educational component as well. And the space exploration track is our newest track that we organized in 2020 or 2021. And we believe space exploration has a fora of things that can be done. So basically, increasing capability in astronomy and observation and space data analysis can really deepen the scientific knowledge and support necessary technology. But also, it really motivates the young generation who are the leaders of tomorrow and who are going to keep developing space. And of course, it's an international effort, and we believe that it fosters a lot of international cooperation. We only have 1 opportunity under the space exploration track now, but we are hoping to expand this track as we move on. Just to give you an overview of the expert meeting that Niklas mentioned earlier. So earlier in the month, we had the first Access to Space for All expert meeting. And it was all done online. Hopefully next time we can do it on site as well. And we invited partners, awardees, governments, potential applicants and partners, and the general public to share and gain insights from the success stories and challenges of the different capacity building activities, and really talk about effective outreach. We discussed how to improve the initiative. As I said earlier, the initiative is growing, and we really want to get more feedback to get better and improve. We also wanted to bring together partners, awardees, supporting governments to build new partnerships. And lastly, we really want to keep raising awareness of the Access to Space for All initiative. So all the presentations, videos, and the report to COPUOS are available on our website. So please have a look. I think it will give you a better overview of the initiative. And just to share the way forward, so we received a lot of amazing feedback from our partners, from the awardees and the applicants, and we will take all this feedback into consideration when opening a new round of applications. And just to mention the list of opportunities that will be opening this year. So today, as announced earlier, we are opening DropTES and HyperGES. So if any of you are interested in applying, please take a look at the website. All the documents are already there. Later this week on Friday, we will be opening KiboCube, and we have 2 more coming up later in the year in Q4. And of course, as an initiative, we will continue to build new partnerships and provide more opportunities, and really explore more ways of advancing the outreach activities. We're doing a lot already on social media and other channels, but we hope to be able to do more to reach the right people. Yes, I just want to emphasize again that partnerships are a really distinctive feature of our initiative, and we would not be able to provide all these amazing opportunities without the partners that we have here. So I just want to say thank you again to all of our partners. And for future partnerships, we are looking for all of the things that are in the list above. So on-ground and on-orbit experiment opportunities, suborbital parabolic balloon flights, launch opportunities for CubeSats, access to infrastructure and provision of scientific tools, and especially fellowships, internships, educational content that could really help with the theoretical foundation. So with this, I'd like to close the overview of the initiative. If you're interested, please take a look at our brochure, but our website, we have everything covered on our website. And if you have any questions, please send an email to this account, which will reach all of us here. So with this, I'd like to move on to the next part of today's agenda, which is the remarks. So I'd like to invite to the floor His Excellency, Mr. Gotz Volker Karl Schmidt-Bremme, from the Permanent Mission of Germany to the international organizations in Vienna.
Thank you. Dear Mrs. Mori, dear Mr. Hedman, sehr geehrter Könemann, guests and colleagues, thank you for having us here. And a big hello to all those attending, well, fittingly worldwide. So I assume most of them on the ground and not up in the space. The latest EU Council conclusions issued earlier this month call for fair and sustainable use of space. While it is clear what is meant by sustainable, we have come together today here to promote what we consider as fair, including an equitable access to the benefits of space technology for all. Allow me to congratulate you on the long-running cooperation between the Office of Outer Space Affairs and the Center for Applied Space Technology and Microgravity, together with the German Aerospace Center and the DropTES program. Since 2014, this cooperative project has allowed student teams from developing countries to access the microgravity research facility in Bremen and advance their efforts in microgravity science in a unique way. Like every technology, space technology starts with research. Today, we see space activities opening up, becoming more accessible and more inclusive. A greater number of participants can follow their passion and support a career in space. This is mostly viewed through a commercial lens and branded as new space revolution, but it also applies to the academic sector, as more and more universities can afford to enter the world of space research. However, this is not a natural process or self-fulfilling prophecy, but rather the result of hard work that people like you are doing in setting up this program, and through which you offer opportunities for students to engage in space science. After 7 successful rounds, the DropTES program selected an all-female team from Universidad de Antioquia of Colombia for its 8th round. They will study the property of tin drops, which could lead to more economical and efficient methods for manufacturing and repairing in space. They will also demonstrate that space is moving away from being a male-dominated industry and becoming a more inclusive place for everyone. This is a very welcome development, and we hope that this trend continues. Here, Germany will remain an active participant and eager supporter of the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space and the Office of Outer Space Affairs. We welcome in particular the Access to Space for All initiative of the Office, of which DropTES program is a part. We wish the team from Columbia all the best for research. May it lead to advance in science, more equitable geographical distribution and gender balance in space research, and finally, to applications that increase the benefits of space technology for us all. Thank you. Mori.
Thank you very much for the remarks, Ambassador. And now I'd like to move on to introduce our partners from ZARM, who are the actual partners who are providing the opportunity for the DropTES opportunity. So with this, I'd like to invite to the floor Mr. Thorben Könemann. And yeah, if you can share a screen, that would be perfect.
Thank you very much, Hazuki, and also thank you very much, Mr. Schmidt-Bremme. I would like to give you an introduction to DropTES. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. As I mentioned, I would like to introduce you to DropTES. The Drop Tower experience is more in detail, which will take place at ZARM with its facilities, Bremen Drop Tower and Gravity Tower Bremen Pro. You already heard some general information about DropTES, so it's a part of the Access to Space for All initiative, and here it belongs to the microgravity track. About the hypergravity track you will hear after my presentation. So it's an annual space-related activity at the Bremen Drop Tower. And you already heard it as well, so that the first cycle was initiated in 2014. And we are very thankful to partnering with UNOOSA and DLR Space Agency to make this opportunity happen. So what is DropTES? So first of all, DropTES means that you can realize your own scientific and or technology experiment under short-term conditions of weightlessness. And this at the Bremen Drop Tower or the new facility Gravity Tower Bremen Pro. I introduce you later in this talk. Yeah, applicants should come from a government organization, research institute, universities, and so on. And each year, one team will be selected, which consists of one team leader and up to 4 members who should come from UN member states. These are the supported members, and the team may be larger so that you can increase the team, but they should be then self-funded. The whole DropTES program follows space project guidelines, so writing proposal, writing reports, and we will also do then different kind of reviews like PDR and CDR, the preliminary design review, and critical design review. At the end, when the experiment is designed, developed, and ready for conducting at the Bremen Drop Tower, then the team will travel to Bremen, to ZARM, and stay there for 2 weeks, for 1 week integration phase and 1 week for the experimenting phase. Yeah, travel, accommodation, and the drop tower utilization are sponsored. And for sure, the program language is English, and the whole duration is about 1 year, but without the application phase, so which started right now. So I am very happy to announce so that you have right now the opportunity to submit your proposal to DropTES, and the deadline is then at the end of November. End of August, you can also, until end of August, you can submit your express of interest. So that means that we can give you, so experts from UNOOSA and ZARM, technical consultation sessions and webinars. Afterwards, then the selection phase. So we will select one team by the end of January next year. And then afterwards, the preparation phase will start. So this is the phase where we cooperate very intensively to realize your experiment and do the preparation for the experiment phase, which will take place in the 4th quarter next year, usually in November. So to do the experiments at the Bremen Drop Tower or Gravity Tower Bremen Pro at ZARM. After the experiment phase, you should give us a final report. So what was done and what was achieved. And during all the time, it's very appreciated if you can do. The team should do also outreach activities, and if feasible, the team should also publish their results. Yeah, DropTES can be understood as a stepping stone to the space. So similar to the Bremen Drop Towers, the easiest way to realize microgravity experiments and also to do a lot of testing purposes. Yeah, for this, it could mean so the promotion of space education and research, enhancement of capacity building activities. It fosters the skills of the team, the knowledge, and also cooperations. It could also boost the technology readiness levels, so TLR level of instruments, for instance. And DropTES has, from my point of view, also a good link to other access to space for all tracks, especially for the satellite track, to testing breadboards and then prepare them for mission in space. And for this, I would like to emphasize here the Wadi from round 4, the Warsaw University of Technology from Poland. They developed the orbiting sail, or the mechanism to deploy a deorbiting sail for their CubeSat mission PWSat-2. So, and they did it in a free fall testing and also in vacuum condition, and tested the mechanism so that it works properly. And this mission was also done. It could also mean to mitigate space debris. So you see is a good relation with technology developments. Then we have up to now 7 rounds has been accomplished with different fields, also from fundamental physics and so on. I cannot go through to all due to time constraints, but I would like to encourage you, and also Hazuki mentioned it, please visit the DropTES website so that you can see what the other teams had done so far. Yeah, for this year, the 8th round awardee comes from Universidad de Antigua from Colombia. They would like to develop a system for autonomous soldering processes in microgravity, so in space, also later for space mission utilizations, for instance. So this is first stepping stone for them to go in this direction. Yeah. We have talked about a lot about Bremen DropTES. I would like to introduce you very briefly to our facilities. You see here on the, for the audience here, you see here the outer concrete shell of our drop tower, and inside we have a vacuum steel tube. The tower itself is 146 meters high, and we have 2 operation modes: drop mode, so dropping an expanded capsule from the top to the bottom, and then the catapult mode, which is a worldwide unique system to shoot up the capsule to the top, and then falls back in the deceleration container. So all experiments are accommodated in experiment capsules. You see it here. And you see here also our infrastructure, which is available then for the selected team. So that means mechanical workshops, tools, instruments, and so on. And during all the time, the selected team will be accompanied by 1 mechanical and 1 electronical engineer at ZARM. Yeah, once the experiment is integrated, then you see here when qualified, and you see here some preparation work for the drop and catapult operation. The capsule must be covered because in the drop tower we have a vacuum. Here you see the vacuum tube, and so we would like to have minimal pressure inside. So the pumping to the vacuum level of 0.1 millibar takes 1.5 hours. For this time, yeah, we have to close the main gate, and the capsule is hanging on the top. Then we will release the supply system. The experiment is then ready for drop, and the scientists can do the drop by just a mouse click. And then the capsule falls 4.7 seconds downwards. A more sophisticated system is our catapult system. You see here the pneumatic system. So it's a combined pneumatic hydraulic system. You see the loading procedure. The capsule stands on a piston. The deceleration containers move to the side. The capsule is shoot up to the top of the drop tower. And with this system, we can nearly double the time in microgravity. And this for a very good microgravity quality 10⁻⁶ G. It's a worldwide unique system. At ZARM, we have, since last year, a new drop tower system. It's called Gravity Tower Bremen Pro. It's a so-called next generation drop tower system. It's based on a rail-guided system. It means similar to an elevator system. With the rope drive system, we can move up a slider, upwards and downwards. And inside the slider, we have the capsule, which is shown here on the lower right. So with this, no vacuum is required, but the microgravity quality cannot be achieved as in the Bremen drop tower. But for this, we cannot do only 3 drops or catapults. We can do almost 1,000 experiments a day if the experiments can realize that. So due to the height and the accommodation of the gravitower in our integration hall, we achieved 2.5 seconds in microgravity. You see here in red the partial G option. So this will ready hopefully after summer or end of this year, so in this time frame, and but it's not part of this year's DropTES announcement. But for next year, we hope so that we can implement also this option so that you can test your devices under Moon or Mars condition, for instance. And due to the fact that we use the same systems, the capsule systems, you can switch between the capsules. So how it works in this sense, you see here the elevator with a slider moving upwards and downwards with a rope drive, the 60-meter height gravitower in our integration hall. The acceleration and deceleration levels can be adjusted so that you have full flexibility for your experiments. So once the capsule is released inside the slider, you see here the microgravity phase for 2.5 seconds and a very smooth transition. So after each experiment, you have very fast access to the experiment itself or experiment capsule. So by opening the gates and the doors here, and you can also turn it to, for instance, for sample exchange. Yeah, with this, I would like to summarize my presentation. So the Bremen Drop Tower is also a stepping stone to space. It offers you a very easy access to a microgravity facility, and this for research, technology tests, or also mission preparation together with the gravitower. We have a good combination, providing the longest microgravity period, 9.3 seconds, with a high quality, up to 1,000 experiments with the gravitower. So, and later on, there's the partial gravity options, and you have the identical payload capsule so that you can switch between the facilities very easily. And also with the high-low payload capacities, you can design very a lot of different bedboards designed for your experiments, and this means it's an ideal platform also for DropTES, so that you can be the first to do the first step into space. Yeah, for this, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm open for questions after this session here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Thorben, for the very detailed explanation about DropTES and the facilities. Next, I'd like to invite to the floor Mr. Jack van Loon of the European Space Agency to give us an overview of HyperGES.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to say something about the HyperGES program. The HyperGES program makes use of the ESA large diameter centrifuge. My name is Jack van Loon. The background and motivation for this program, HyperGES, stands for Hypergravity Experiment Series. It's a motivation to make hypergravity environment accessible to countries which do not have, let's say, the possibility to have access to such facility. And it's an agreement to collaborate. The establishment, the MOU, was made between ESA and the United Nations in 2018. We had the first selection in 2019, a second selection last year, 2022. Although the first experiments still have to be conducted because of the COVID period in the meantime, which makes it difficult to operate here, and also to have the people from Thailand, which were the first awardees, to get all the students up to the Netherlands, but it will hopefully be possible later this year. So finally, we had 3 teams for the announcement of opportunity in 2019, and we had 2 teams for 2022 announcement, and it will be done at the second part of this year. So the opportunity is especially for young professionals. Of course, it's a capacity building, which is important to get experience in space and science-related fields, experience to work in an international research setting and collaborate with international partners and systems, and to be exposed to the space related project management and requirements, as already mentioned, for the DropTES program. These are the 3 experiments that have been awarded up till now. The first round in 2019, there was the awardee from a university in Thailand. They're going to look at watermeal, which is the smallest plant available on Earth. They want to explore the effect of gravity on the development and morphology of these very small plants. The 2 awardees from last year is one of them from Bolivia. They're going to look into the effect of gravity on erythrocyte membrane and the intensity of the osmotic fragility of these cells under different gravity conditions. You have a phenomenon called space anemia. It's been around for, well, since Germany. We know about that, and they want to explore on a cellular level what gravity might be doing with these red blood cells. Another experiment from the University of Macau. They will look into the effect of gravity on fungi and to see in various species of fungi and to look into the morphology and genetic background and changes in these fungi under different gravity conditions. And this experiment runs for 2 weeks. The Technology Center of ESA is located at ESTEC. That is what you see here. ESTEC is in the Netherlands. You see the North Sea here at the back. These are the dunes, ESTEC. And with respect to the HyperGES program, the center of gravity is here really in this small dome where we have the large diameter centrifuge. And next slide, yes. This is a setup why we're going to use, or why you can use centrifuges to say something about gravity. This is, let's say, a gravity line where you go from microgravity up to X gravity, whatever the X is for your particular experiment. We are most familiar with microgravity. For long duration microgravity, you can make use of the ISS or CSS or other orbiting stations. For short duration, we just heard from Thorben that we can do the, for instance, the drop tower experiments or other short duration tests like parabolic flights. But for long durations, we can use ISS or CSS. We have the 1G where we compare the results with, and we can make use of hypergravity, so everything above above 1G. And there we can use centrifuges, and it is relatively easy to do that, and we can do that on ground. So why we're going to use these centrifuges and how you're going to use it, I will explain you in a minute. This is the rotation of the LDC seen from above. And if we go to the next slide, if it wants to, please go. Yeah. So the reason why you want to use hypergravity in space-related research, well, first of all, is you can use hypergravity as one of the, just to increase gravity because you're interested in the effect of gravity as such. Gravity is a force, which means it has a magnitude and a direction. So if you want to learn something about gravity, I think you should explore the full spectrum. So going from nearly no gravity up to this X gravity, whatever the X is for your particular experiment. One way to say something, making use of hypergravity, what might happen at a lower G level is to use the phenomenon of gravity continuum and then to extrapolate your data. If you're going to do experiments at hypergravity, so anything above 1G, if you take just this straight line here, you can start the experiment doing it at 10G, 5G, 2G, and so on. Then you can extrapolate that data to what you think what might happen if you go, for instance, to Moon or Mars. So it gives you an indication of of what might happen at lower G levels, besides the data of hyper-G as such. The other way that you can make use of centrifuges is that you can say something about what might happen at microgravity based on the reduced gravity paradigm. So if you have an experiment on ground, this is a regular spaceflight experiment. If you have it on ground at 1G, you have your launch, and then you are under microgravity conditions, and your sample adjusts to that. With the centrifuge, you can do the same thing, but then you start with 3G, and then you lower your G level, and then you are at that lower G level, and the idea is that the effects you see are the same. So, and it's easy way for young people, for students just starting in the field, to think about what might happen if they go with their experiment in real microgravity conditions or to work under hypergravity as such. This is just a small one page of the facility we have. Of course, we have the centrifuge in the dome here. We have a supporting lab. We have life sciences lab with incubators and flow benches. So lots of cell biological work, meeting room, a small workbench. We have a support room where we have autoclaves and again for life sciences experiments. For physical science experiment, we have other facilities, also furnaces and instruments available to do fluid related experiments, for instance. The main properties of the LDC: it's an 8-meter diameter system. It has 4 arms. We have 7 gondolas, 6 gondolas rotating and 1 gondola in the center. This is really if you use systems which are sensitive to rotation, like animals. We can have an 80-kilogram payload in each gondola. The LDC can go up to 20 G, 20 times Earth gravity. It has a 22 kilowatt motor. And the most important thing for the HyperGES program is that you can make use of the LDC for a maximum of 2 weeks. An example of what you could do in the LDC, this is the fastest spin up and spin down. So you can spin up from 1G to 20G in about 60 seconds, spin down from 20G to 1G in about 55 seconds. And the thing you could do, for instance, to have a rocket launch, in this case, a Soyuz launch, which you can simulate, but you can make any profile necessary for your particular experiment. Here are some examples for ISRU, in situ research utilization studies, which is now very popular with respect to Moon and Mars exploration missions. Here we look at the impact of a particle onto a regolith surface. So to have an impact study like you do with meteorites, for instance, small meteorites. This is another study where they looked at the functionality of an ultrasonic drill. This was from the University of Glasgow. They used this hypergravity setup to look at the functionality with respect to the efficacy and power consumption and so on of that drill. And what they really needed to do is what you see in this slide here. Is you see that they made a model of that drill depending on various settings before they came to the centrifuge, and the dashed lines, this is the model, and the solid lines here is really what they measured in the LDC. So you see that they really have to adapt their drill model to the actual values. And also from these studies, you can see you can extrapolate the data going from 5G to lower Gs, and you can extrapolate that to, for instance, Moon or Mars G if needed. You can also make use of the centrifuge with respect to the scaling effects, because gravity scales, with length, with time, and with mass. So you can do various experiments within the centrifuge, speeding up time or getting more information on the structure in a short period of time. Some examples of configurations. You've seen the impact study I told you before. This is an experiment with to look at the vestibular system of a crab. Mass and heat transfer, where we can use a lot of cooling systems within the centrifuge. A model glacier experiment here. A bubble experiment where we used lots of cameras. This is an experiment where we combined both microgravity simulation, making use of a clinostat, together with hypergravity, and this was with respect to the development of zebrafish, so developmental biological studies. And this was an experiment where we made use of a microscope. This is a regular EVOS microscope, or a light sheet microscope within the centrifuge, also cell biological work that can be done. This is a bubble experiment from the University of Barcelona. I don't go into detail of this slide, but you get the PDF files from this meeting and you can go over them. These are peer-reviewed open source publications of the various disciplines that have been made use of the LDC. So in cell biology, plant biology, material sciences, technology, geology, fluid physics, and so on. You can download the papers from here if you are interested to learn something about it. And this is the last page where you have various links to either the LDC user manual, pages from UNOOSA, Celgra, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jack, for your presentation. We do have ESA colleagues. I do not see him in the room anymore, but we have Mr. Thomas Weissenberg, who is here during the committee. So if you have any questions regarding HyperGES, please also feel free to address him, but of course to Jack. And for DropTES, we have Thorben here today. I don't know if you're here tomorrow, but just today. So if you have any questions to him about DropTES, please address him after the meeting. Okay, with this, I'd like to move on to the next part of our agenda, which is really giving you an explanation of how to apply to DropTES and HyperGES. So I will share the screen and give the floor to my colleague Wenbin Zhang, who is right next to me, who will give you an explanation.
Yes, thank you, Hazuki, and thank you, Thorben and Jack, for the very detailed introduction of the DropTES and HyperGES program. So I will be very quick just to give you very short information regarding how to apply to this DropTES and HyperGES program. So first, you should go to the Access to Space portal, so you can find every information regarding this initiative on this webpage. So we have informations regarding our opportunity and also awardees and also our contribution to SDGs. So basically, we have like a quick launch bar at the top of the page, and you click the hypergravity microgravity track, and it will lead to you the DropTES and HyperGES, and click DropTES and HyperGES, and it will lead you to the dedicated page of DropTES. Now I use DropTES as an example. So in the DropTES page, you just scroll down and you find the rounds and click read more and go to the rounds page. So we have every information here. You can find an announcement of opportunity document and application form, expression of interest, and also we have an evaluation table here. But most important thing, we will have a dedicated webinar regarding the announcement of opportunity on 21st June for DropTES and 26th June for HyperGES. So yeah, this is a very important thing. I would like to brief you the schedule. So as Thorben mentioned, this opportunity will open from today, and we will close the submission of application form by 26 November 2023. So there are some very important milestones here. So first, we will have the announcement of opportunity webinar on 21st June. And after that, you can submit, you can have any experimental idea and submit an expression of interest to us. And by 31st August, and we will give you an opportunity to talk with us directly with our partner and us to discuss your ideas, and you can improve that and prepare your application form by the 26th of November. And for HyperGES, yes, the timetable is not exactly the same. So the webinar is on 26th of June, and you can submit the expression of interest by 30 July, so earlier than the DropTES, and we will schedule meetings around August, and then you submit the final document by 12 November 2023. So if you have no idea what you can perform in Job Tower or in the centrifuge, you can also go to our awardees page. So for DropTES, we already have like 8 awardees, and 7 of them already performed their experiment. So you can find their report in this page, and it will help you for your preparation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Wenbin. Everything is on the website. Please take a look at our website, and if you have any questions, yes, please address us. With this, I'd like to invite to the floor Mr. Luc St-Pierre, who will give the closing remarks.
Thank you, Hazuki, and good afternoon. Thank you, Ambassador Schmidt-Bremme, to be with us. Collaboration with Germany, not only in access to space, but other initiatives is always very important to us since a long time. So we hope it will continue. And thank you for Thorben also, after what, 8 years on the project together. It's the first time we actually meet. You look better than on camera. And also to our colleague from ESA, to Jack, to be with us remotely. We have this long collaboration with ZARM since 7 or 8 experiments, and we look forward with ESA to have the similar line of or series of experiments. You heard the word from Niklas to Thorben, and maybe Jack also, the word unique a few times. Of course, this is the originality of the project. We are able to provide access to these unique facilities, but unique is also the experience itself from those teams. Try to put yourself in the shoes of that team of young researchers and students in Colombia who will be going to Germany sometime this year, having access to that facility. The thrill must be immense, but also the motivation it gives them to keep on studying and do something different and come up with complex projects, which all have a very high relevance in space science. And that's why we work with this partner also. We make sure that the proposals are useful in different areas. And I say different areas because it's not only the space sector. We have, I don't know, many experiments that are not proposals that are not in space science. They're in medical science, in biotechnology, in physics, in remote sensing, in astronomy. So we need to reach to these public also, and that's difficult for us. And it's one reason we invited you here as delegates to COPUOS. We want to find new channel of outreach to enlarge the number of interested parties, and I think you can help us disseminating that information, and we're here to help also interested parties in your country to find that information. It's not easy for a team of researchers in a small university in a developing country who obviously don't have access to that. It's not easy to take the decision to submit a proposal. It's quite intimidating, and some of them are quite complex. But we have material. There's so much resources on our website for that, resources coming from those partners, but also from universities, from space agencies, and we're enlarging that. And there's a lot of information on how to make an application, and we have webinars on how to make an application. So we can help interested parties in developing solid, competitive applications. And what we want in the future is not only to increase the number of projects or opportunities, but also to receive more applications from developing countries, more competitive applications with better science in them also. So we're working hard on that. Quickly, because I know what. Thank you first for skipping lunch. You're very kind. And what we hope again is that you help us disseminate that, and we have interesting time coming because we'll have a lot of work also. We're going to have a large number of proposals to evaluate. So having better proposal also for us is very important. So I would leave it at that for now. We're going to hopefully in the next few years also have more activities to not only increase the visibility of the initiative, but who help and interest parties to submit applications, develop interesting projects, and also find ways to better support the awardees also, which is challenging, not only in terms of science, in terms of administration, in terms of customs, in terms of leadership, in terms of finance, in terms of respecting the legal regime that exists for launching small satellite and others. So there's a lot of needs in that sense. And we look forward to work with entities from your countries, and with your support that will be even better when possible. So thank you very much. Thank you also for Hazuki and Wenbin for running this, not only this meeting, but all the webinars that go around it. Thank you very much. And you can have lunch. I was just joking.
Thank you very much, Luke, for the closing remarks. Just a few announcements before we leave. So today we have the summary of the expert meeting, the Access to Space for All expert meetings as a technical presentation. So if you're interested, please stay in the plenary room for the technical presentation. The second announcement is that later this week on Friday, we will have another dedicated event for KiboCube, which is the 1U deployment opportunity that we have with Japan. So if you're interested, it's the same time. It's 1 p.m. So it's also lunchtime, but I hope you can join us. And the third is that we will keep doing a lot of different webinars, events. We have workshops that are happening as well. So please stay tuned. Follow us on social media. We will be sending emails to you. But yeah, please keep connected with us. And yeah, we'll keep doing a lot for 2023. Thank you everyone for joining in, especially also online. And thank you to all our partners that made it here. Okay, I think we're done. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, everyone.